Good afternoon, this is Steph from My Surgery App. Again, this is Wednesday, the 8th of December. And this, again, welcome to another session of Webinar Wednesdays. So in today's session, we're going to show you, we have a few requests from practice managers about how to download and build your own custom forms for patients to complete and submit to you. So we're going to share our screen now as usual and show you exactly how to build custom forms in your portal. Okay, so here we can see we're in the portal for our test surgery, Grange Road surgery. And on the left-hand side here, you can see the button called Custom Form Builder. So you can go here, click on this button here. This is taking a little bit of time. Okay, and you can see now we've got a number of forms active. And you can download these forms, which we've built for you guys from the template. If you wanted to download, send us a photo, we have built that for you, and you can download that template, and there we are, it'll be active. The fields are already built. You can edit these fields, add to them if you wanted to, but that template's been built for you. But today we're going to show you how to build your own form. So to do that, you can click on Add New, and we're going to build an example. I hope they don't mind, but the Waterfront Medical Centre here in Cardiff are a very good example of a form for patients to request an ongoing sick note. So we're going to copy this format really. So to build a new form, you need to send a destination to it. So let's say that this is going to my email address, but in practice with you guys, you would say that was going to reception at or admin at. Very soon we're building a workflow management system for you. So all of these forms will come into a workflow system where your receptionist can access them all instead of going into a dedicated email address. You'll have the choice to send them into an email or to workflow. We'll update that in January for you. More on that to follow. But we need a title. So we're going to copy and paste this over. So let's put title. So this is request an ongoing sick note. And again, same as we've shown you in previous videos, you can edit, put a title in, you can edit it, and as I said, I like to use heading 2 for that. It just looks a bit nicer. Okay, so we need there's some more information here, so we would copy this over and put those as instructions for the patient to read. There we go, that's in there. Now you can send a message. So once the patient submitted a form, you want the patient to have a message there. So we can put anything you want. We put thank you. Form has been built successfully. Okay. Thank God the spell check is built in. Okay, right, so that's been done. So once the patient submits this, the app will give them that message. You can edit this at any time as well. So we'll quickly save that now so you don't lose that work. Just go back in. Okay, there's a bit of editing to do there, so I'd like that to be at the top. Again, edit that and put in heading 2. That's there. Okay, now we want to build the fields. So if you add down here, that you can see you can build a lot of fields. So what I like to do when I build a form is just to add lots of fields first of all. So I haven't got to keep adding. So I'll add about 10 fields. And then you'll see in the drop-down box here, you can see exactly what these fields are for. Text, a text single line, multi-line, email, date checkbox, a patient tick a yes or no, drop-down menu, radio buttons, only one can be selected. So if you've got if you want patients to select, make a selection, but only have one, be very specific, have that. Checklist, or they can for that they can select multiple selections. File upload, allow the patient to submit, upload a file from their camera, i.e. a photograph or a file from a folder already on their phone. And label, none label only, that is for if you want to put a title, so the patient isn't actually going to fill anything in for that section of the form, it's just a title. So we will go through now and we'll build this form here. So personal details. So we're going to copy that over. That's a heading. So we're going to put here personal details. So that's a heading. There's nothing for the patient to build in. It's just label only, isn't it? The next one to go along there, yeah, we've got more instructions. So there we're going to put in the next box And again, that's not for the patient to fill in, that's a label only. So that's the first section being done. Okay, so full name, and on this section it's got a red star, so assuming that is mandatory. So that's going to be full name. We only need a text line for that, and we're going to make that mandatory. That's a field that the patient has to fill in. Next is date of birth, and again that's going to be mandatory. And because it's date of birth, we can put in there the date, and that'll allow patient to use the calendar functionality. Once we're in 2022, then the app will automatically update with that date. And again, that's a mandatory field. First line of address and postcode. Okay, so this could be a bit different. It can be more. They may need more than one line, so we can put in here a text multi-line to give them enough room to be able to fill that in. Excuse me. Again, we want that mandatory. Contact number. Okay, that's coming up as a mandatory field. So we put in their contact number. Again, they only need one line for that. And email address. There, we can put that in. That's not mandatory, but we can put in email. So it'll say that the patient can put in their email address. So that first section is done. That's pretty easy to fill out. We've got the mandatory and we've got the non-mandatory, we've got the titles and what a patient needs to fill out. Okay, next section, additional sick note requests. Okay, so again, this is a title. So you can see now I'm adding fields. So just keep on adding fields. If you don't need them, you can delete them at the end. So this is going to be a title for this section. And again, additional sick note request, that is a title, it's just a label only. We've got some more information in here. And again, we're going to put that in as a title only. Good. Okay. So we'll just do this section here. Date last sick note expired. So we can put there, and because there's a date, again, we can use the date calendar and make that mandatory. Reason for sick note extension. Excuse me. I put in there multi-line and make that mandatory just to give them a little bit more room to put stuff in. Please state how long days we could require this for. Okay, I'd make that a single line just to make it very specific so the patient can't put too much information in. And okay, so how would you like to receive the sick note? Okay, so this is going to be a radio button. Okay, so it's going to, we can collect from practice email. So we've got a few options there, which you can give the patient a decision. So we can multiple there. So we're going to put that mandatory. And because this is a few options, we're going to put, first of all, in here, we're going to put collect from practice. Now it says at the bottom here, it says separate the options with a comma. So collect from practice, comma, or the other one is emailed. And it says here, email. Please ensure you complete the email address box above. Well, it's a mandatory field. Have we made the email mandatory? No, it's not. So let's make that mandatory to make sure the patient does fill in that box. There you go, and consent. Okay, that's fine. So that we're almost done building this form. So the next one now is a title. So again, we'll go to label only, add a few more fields, just make sure we've got enough fields there. So this is, again, a disclaimer. Copy. We put that as the disclaimer, and we've got in there, a consent. So we put that as a label. Labels are not mandatory because it's not a field that requires, but I'd say that this is, I consent to the practice collecting, storing my data for this form. Yes, we'll make that, so make that a yes or no, and that's mandatory, but I consent to practice, yes or no, we'll just put in there, yes or no. So that form has been built. We don't need these extra ones I put in there, so I'll just click on delete. Are you sure you want to move? Yes, I'll delete that. Click on yes and click save. So now, from my point of view, I think I've built this pretty well, but I want to see how it looks in the app. So I want to make it active now, and I want to put this position behind the admin queries button. and I want to save that. Now, don't forget, we offer you a portal, and I'll put the portal address in the email we send out with the recording for this. You can have a portal address to see what's going on in your app. So before, you may have the app on your phones, you may have downloaded it, but you also have a portal view to see when any updates you make in the app. You can log into the portal view then to see how that would look. So we've built this request from this request ongoing sick note. We've got it behind the admin query, and it's active, and it's going to my email address at the moment. In practice, it would be your email address, and from January, it will be the workflow management system. So now let's update the app and see what that looks like, to see if we need to edit anything. Is it user-friendly or not? There we are. So there we are. Request an ongoing sick note. So there's the form. So how does it look? So it's got the instructions. Patient put their name, date of birth, first line of address and postcode, contact number and email address. They look pretty good. Additional sick note requests. So the patient can read that. Date of last sick note, they can put the date in. Reason, we've put a bit of that. Right. So please state how many days, weeks you require a sick note for. So they can actually type in here. Does it look okay if we click that in? No, it's overlapping. So maybe I want to change that to make it a little bit easier. That doesn't look very good. So please state how many days or weeks. So we'll change that to a label. Not non-mandatory, and then we need to put another field in. So add field, just blank text and make it mandatory. We'll move it up to here. Okay, so that's a title now, and that's a text box for the patient to fill this in. So I'll click on save, and we'll refresh the app now and make sure that that section does look a bit better. I have an admin query there. We've checked all of this. There, please state how many days, weeks. So that's a bit better. It looks a bit clearer, and the patient has a box to be able to type in. There we are. Now, how would you like to see the sick note? Collect from practice or emailed? The patient can tick on that. They can read the consent, and they can say yay or nay to consent. That form looks great to me. It's nice and easy for the patient to fill in. It's got all the details you require as a manager, as a practice, for the patient to submit it. And I'm happy with that. So there we are. I would leave that in there now active. If I needed to come back to that form at any given time to edit something, I could just go into it, a request ongoing sick note, and I can edit it, and I can say, okay, well, I need another field in there, or I want to make something else mandatory or not mandatory. You can add to it at any time, and once you save it, it'll update automatically then in your app. So don't forget this portal My Surgery app, and we can give you this link. It'll be in the description for this video and in the email we'll send you out with the recording. It's really easy. It's really useful for you guys to use, just a point of reference to say, okay, well, I built this form, but how does it actually look from a patient point of view? By doing this and by going into here and checking it, you can check it in live time and say, okay, yeah, I'm happy with all of this. If you're not, then you can do what I did and go back and amend something in there. And don't forget, you can. I'll just add this very quickly. There's lots of things you can link to in here. A checkbox, date, drop-down menus. Let's make this Let's make that a drop-down menu. Let's change that then. Let's delete that and show you how a drop-down menu would look. So let's make this a drop-down menu. There you go. We'll save that. So we'll go back into the app now and show what a drop-down menu looks like. There we are. How long would you like to receive the sick note? The patient can select then which one they want, collect from practice or emailed, or whatever they want. So that's how a drop-down would look. So that's really easy for you guys to build custom forms. So I'll stop sharing my screen now. So don't forget, we build templates, all kinds of templates for these forms. And don't forget, 40% of calls coming through to you guys in practice are admin related. They're not clinical. So if you don't have systems like eConsult and Ask My GP, even if you do, some of the eConsult or Ask My GP don't have these specific forms built in, which allow you to really narrow down the information you want from practice, from patients. You can either build that form by following the process I've just done, or you can send the form to us and we will log into your system and build it for you and put it into your app. We can build forms which are duplicated across the entire cluster or health board, or we can build it as a template for nationally for you to download, such as access to medical records. That would be the same for everybody, wouldn't it? So please do utilize this. We've got a video coming out, I believe, towards the beginning of January, an educational video for patients you can put on your Facebook and on your TVs and reception. It's in English and Welsh, telling patients all about the admin queries and how they can really help you guys and help themselves to avoid an unnecessary phone call to you guys by using these buttons in the app. And you can build as many admin queries as you want to. Now I'm going to share my screen very quickly again to show you another update that's coming up in January. So hopefully you can see. Okay, so at the moment in the app's homepage, it's got in the portal's homepage, it's got at the moment a couple of non-clinical forms, and you can select these. And then all your custom built forms, you have to go here to find them, to see, click that button to see what's active and what's not. So we're doing away with this functionality here. So all of these forms, all of your active forms in the January update will all appear here under non-clinical forms. If it's active, it'll have a tick in it. If you don't want to make it active, just leave it blank. And again, you can link to your eConsult, Ask My GP, Accurix, Triage portals or not, or you can link it to an email address in the practice, or you could then link it from January onwards to our workflow management system, which your receptionist or an admin team can access. So that will be upcoming for you. That just makes it a bit clearer to show what's actually active in your app for you. So when you do build the custom form button, the only button that will be there for you to build will be an add new button, and you build a brand new form. All of these currently active forms will appear, as I said, in the app's homepage under non-clinical forms, but I think we're renaming this to admin forms. So that's it for today. That's hopefully this video has shown you exactly how to build custom forms. Please do record this and store it in a file or store it anywhere. It's available on YouTube under our Webinar Wednesdays playlist, so you can go back to this anytime and view it again just to see and have another reference point for it. Any questions you've got, please use the chat functionality now, and I'd be more than happy to answer them. There's a bit of a delay on this, a few seconds, so I'll see if you guys have got any questions you'd like to ask. No? Okay, that's it. That's it for today's webinar. Thank you for attending. As always, this will be sent out to you in an email so you can store it, but it's also available on our YouTube channel under the playlist of Wednesday webinars, where all our other previous Wednesday webinars are also hosted. If you've got any requests for any particular things in webinars, now we had a lot of requests following last week's webinar about the custom forms. That's why we've dedicated this section to this today. If you've got any requests for future webinars, but things you'd like to go through, please do email me, steph@mysurgeryapp or support@mysurgeryapp, and we'll promise to include those on the next webinars. Okay, thank you all.